to get some tips now. We asked Sam Gishuru, who's the founder and tutor at Kidato. I think it's about a year old now that he's been putting up. What are some of the tips that he has for startups that are looking for funds in whatever way? Let's play some of them up here. Some interesting things to take a look at. So Sam says, build to solve a problem. The more personal the problem is to you, the better. Spend time talking to customers, not investors. Only start fundraising when you have users or customers. Paul Graham calls it the quantum of utility stage. Know how much you need and what for. So I need X amount, and by the period you need to hit your next milestones. That is something he says, and I think it's been echoed here. Know your next milestones. Investors prefer jurisdictions that can protect IP and their investments. And then he goes on to say, at seed stage, don't do a priced round, do a safe. Legal can be expensive, and so be super careful. This one is one I found interesting because, it also speaks to the people. There are people who are running this business. He says, fundraising can be emotionally draining in ways you cannot even imagine. Identify and stay ahead of it. And finally, he says, take money from good people and get yourself a network of other founders. Dr. Ndemo, I hope you can hear me. Let's have your final thoughts on this from what we have heard here in a moment. Your final thoughts, Dr. Ndemo, on funding startups, where we need to go. I think for you, the major take home from everything we've discussed here so far.
I think it's wonderful that we are having this discourse because people have been borrowing more than they need. People have been borrowing before they understand what they need to do. And people have been borrowing and misuse the resources. I think we need to talk, but what is happening is that the SME sector, which contributes greatly to the economy and employs a lot of people, I see virtually everybody is now training their eyes into that sector to solve the problem. So you are going to see major companies, especially tech, moving into that space because of the availability of technology to disrupt it, because we can now amass more data to understand their problem and help them. So I see a very positive future in the sense that once you begin to solve it from that end, they will begin to grow, provide more employment, more taxes to the government. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bitangi Ndemo, joining us there, Professor of Entrepreneurship at the University of Nairobi with Where We Go. And also thank you for helping us understand startups, SMEs. Naomi, your final thoughts on financing for small businesses, why this is important and how to do it right.
Okay, so for small, medium and micro enterprises, I would encourage them to be ready when they need to borrow. And that means just have what the requirements that the bank is looking for. Talk to the bank way in advance. Understand what are the things that you need to bring to the bank. We have a variety of solutions that we offer. We offer working capital solutions. We have short-term facilities which go up to a year. We also have the unsecured facilities like Professor talked about, which also go for a period of 3 years. And then we have the long-term solutions, which go up to 5 years. Like I said, we serve SMEs with turnovers of anything below 1 billion Kenya shillings. You can also borrow up to 250 million. The amount really depends on your ability to pay. And this bouquet of solutions is there to support you as an SME. As a bank, we are here to walk this journey with you and to simplify your life, to enable your growth, and most importantly, to see you go ahead. So talk to us, visit any KCB bank that's nearest to you, and we'll be able to offer these solutions to you.
Absolutely, thank you. Linda, finally, really, and also the importance of, Sam Gishuru said it in the tips that he gave, speaking with other, founders as well, and the importance of being part of a hub.
Yeah.
We see them everywhere, not just in Nairobi, but, across the country as well.
Yeah, I think I'd advise entrepreneurs to really research. Research is being part of a community, accelerator, and also just knowing what's happening in the market. What's the financing like, the reports like the one you mentioned at the beginning, that's really important. Also, too, to understand, financing instruments. What are the financing instruments, that are involved? What are the funding rounds? What's your growth stage? I think that's really important for you to get there. And then finally, just getting good legal counsel from the get-go. That you get a lawyer who understands business enough to help you through refining your product, but then also refining your type of business and your governance structure within that sector. I believe that in this day and age, every business should be a tech-enabled business, and we're seeing a lot of investments within the tech ecosystem. I wish that more and more Kenyans would come into this sector and be able to actually raise funding from globally, just not looking at Kenya alone. If you fear alone so bad, look for a high impact sort of solution and get to talk to investors within your particular space.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Linda Bonyo, Naomi as well, and Dr. Bitange Ndemo. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for speaking with us here. I think I have time for about 2 tweets. Alex Owiti says, most startups don't survive after their second year. They need to be supported and advised so they can grow to become an economic enabler. Patrick Toretich on Twitter says, it's critical for African governments, including Kenya, to support formulation of startup acts to support startup ecosystems. And then there was another question, we didn't get a chance to answer that, about starting up a business with a debenture or rather loans. What are some of the pros and cons? We'll obviously have this conversation again a little more to continue to talk about that. So thank you for watching and thank you for your feedback on the same. Remember, this is the show that focuses on, like Naomi said, anyone that makes from 0 up to $1 billion shillings turnover. But we mostly focus on the MSME, the micro sector. Remember, anyone who has 0 to 10 employees and all the way up until 250 and plus. Thanks for watching the show. We appreciate your feedback today and always. That is where we leave it now.